Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna Bond is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in, welcome back. Welcome to Spiritual Ambition. We have a beautiful show planned for you today. You know, what if your deepest transformation isn't just about you? What if it's not just about changing your own life, but contributing to the conscious evolution of our entire planet? Humanity is awakening. Despite what you might see on the news, consciousness is expanding. And the souls who have been doing their inner work are being called. We are being called forward. We're not to keep doing the healing alone, but we are here to step into our evolutionary role and elevate the collective. And that means you too. Hello, everyone in the chat. Christine, welcome. Kim Princess, welcome back. Labyrinthia, Criterion. Ooh, I'm getting better at saying that, aren't I? Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Here's the truth, everyone. Your awakening is not separate from humanity's awakening. It is part of it. And the inner work that we each do is not really just about us. I remember my professors from the University of Santa Monica, Drs. Ron and Mary Holnick. They would say that when one person heals one issue, all of humanity moves forward. What an incentive to do the work. What an incentive to keep growing and evolving. You know, if we don't evolve, we're going to die. If we're not moving forward, we're going to extinct ourselves. And as an individual piece of the collective whole, the only way we can do it is starting with ourselves. Today, we're going to talk with Teresa Wornstaff. She is returning to Spiritual Ambition. Teresa is an intuitive channel, and she is the creator of the Global Evolutionary Summit, which is a 10-week experiential journey that awakens consciousness, activates potential, and elevates humanity. She works with high-frequency councils to transmit wisdom and activations that support the collective evolution that is underway at this time. And she is back with us today because there is a new summit that has already begun. It began last week, but you can still get in. If you have been feeling the pull towards something bigger than just your own personal growth, this conversation is your invitation. Evolution itself is calling you forward. Welcome to Spiritual Ambition. Let's call in the light, and then we will welcome Teresa onto the stage here. So I want to invite everyone, wherever you are at this time, to just close your eyes. We remember Spiritual Ambition is our opportunity to tune in, to awaken our divine nature, infinite universe. We call ourselves forward once again into your loving. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any karma, negativity, imbalance, any distress, discomfort, dis-ease, constriction, contraction, any grief, any anger, any fear, any frustration, any tiredness, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving that may be residing anywhere in our consciousness, in our homes, our properties, our environments, our relationships, our bank accounts, any energy that has a resonant frequency less than divine love. We ask that all of that be lifted and cleared at this time, taken to the highest realms of light and sound and transmuted back into the nothingness, into this space. We recognize our collective unity, our wholeness, our loving nature. We acknowledge and we welcome in only those divine beings of light who love each one of us unconditionally, who work for the divine plan and who work for the light. We welcome only you into our sacred space here today. We ask for your support and assistance in bringing forward healing, revelation, and those that are being called. We invite the wisdom of our higher selves to permeate our consciousness and our whole beings. We are grateful. We say thank you, and so be it. Your transformation is humanity's transformation, and your awakening, your lifting your awareness, elevating your consciousness serves the collective. It's not just about you. It's not just about me. It's about all of us together. How would your commitment to your spiritual journey change if you really understood that it was preparing you to play an even bigger role in shaping the world that you want to live in? Think about that. Your personal growth and healing is a positive contribution to healing the world. And I really want you to hear that and know that at the deepest level, that any work that you do, anytime you're willing to change your mind, hear that, anytime you're willing to change your mind, you're opening your awareness, you're elevating your consciousness. All right, we're going to send a little bit of light around the globe as we always do. This is one of our most sacred practices that we do together, our sacred circle of light. So if there is anyone that you would like to send light to, please drop their name in the chat, or you can go to spiritualambitionsacredlight.com and you can submit the names of anyone into our circle of light. Today, I want to send light around the globe to anyone who might be in a war zone, anyone who is trapped in fear, anyone who is experiencing harm. We also send the light to Alana, to Betty, to Bob, to Beth, to Gregory, to Celia, and David, to Aurora. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your intentions and your prayers, and know that they make a difference. Every time we place our focused attention in any direction, we are sending our energy and our thoughts to whatever or wherever. And that is just a reminder for all of us to be intentional with how we use the power of our attention and our minds. All right. Well, I want to welcome my dear friend. Teresa Wornstaff is an intuitive channel, a transformational guide. She is the author of A Manual for Humanity. She's a healer, and she is the creator of the Global Evolutionary Summit. As a multi-source channel working with higher frequency councils, guides, and cosmic energies, Teresa transmits wisdom, energy codes, and activations that unlock higher states of consciousness and support humanity's ascension. She's balancing 30 plus years of corporate leadership with decades of intuitive mastery. She creates sacred containers where awakened souls unite in shared purpose to catalyze collective transformation. She is back here on Spiritual Ambition to share how the summit has evolved from the last time she was here back in the fall of 2025. Here we are 6 months later. Let's welcome back Teresa Wornstaff. Thank you for being here.
So good to be with you again, Donna.
Teresa, I'm so happy to have you here. You know, before we talk about the summit, I got to just hear a little something about Glastonbury, England, where you were with our other sister, Sally Shakti Willow, at a writing retreat. Give us some goodness.
Oh, I'd love to. So first of all, I want to evoke the energies of Glastonbury, Stonehenge, the chalice wells, and bring them into our collective container so that all present can tap in. So as Donna knows, I know, isn't it yummy?
It's so present with me. Like, I'm reading a book right now called something about Avalon. Like, it's all like so in my space right now on so many levels. Thank you for that. That's such a gift. Truly. Thank you.
Thank you for receiving it.
Because this is what we're here for, Teresa, right? Because we are here infusing the ways of the priestess into our everyday lives, the ways of honor and ritual, the ways of opening our hearts, the ways of humility and authenticity at the truest sense, right? Like, that's what it's really about. That's why we're doing the work, and to create heaven on earth here. That is why we are here.
And all of that embodied in some kick butt warriors, right? Who are really willing to stand up and say, oh, you know what? I don't like what I'm seeing on the outside, so I'm going to change the inside so that I vibrate the antidote, which is exactly what you were speaking about before I joined you. And it was so compelling because at the center of why we're here on the planet is being a sovereign catalyst.
Yes.
And to me, there's nothing more sacred. And the journey is to continue. You don't become a sovereign catalyst. That's the journey you take until you die.
Until you die, until you take your last breath in these bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what you just said. The antidote to, how did you put it?
The
I know, right? We're already up there. If anybody got it, put it in the chat. We vibrate the antidote.
Yeah. It's the antidote to what we see out there that we're not aligned with, that we want to shift and change. Comes from in here. Yeah. Yeah. So I was invited to Sally Shakti's writing retreat to be a guest speaker, presenter, and to channel, to do private channeling for the individuals who were participating. And being in the container of Glastonbury and Avalon energies elevated what came through truly to another level.
No doubt.
And huge shout out to Sally Shakti, because in addition to being one of the most accomplished nonfiction writing coaches, mentors, guides, visionaries,
she's remarkable.
She really is. She is also a priestess, star priestess of Avalon.
Yeah.
So that infused so much of what we were doing, including visiting all of the sacred sites so that we could experience what was there for us. And that included the Chalice Wells, where we had a private tour and were able to interact with the fairy mounds.
Wow.
Yes.
Something else.
Visiting the, yes, thank you, Mother Mary, Michael ley lines. There was one point the day that we went to Stonehenge, the equinox, we went at sunrise and spent several hours in the energy of these sacred stones. And by about 2:00 in the afternoon, we'd been up since 3. I was dragging. I was tired. And so myself and another participant visited one of the sacred crosses, the sacred cross ley lines. 10 minutes in that energy, and I was good for another 8 hours.
Amazing.
Incredibly amazing.
Amazing.
And this is the parallel that I want to draw to what the Global Evolutionary Summit brings.
You're reading my mind, sister. You are reading my mind. Keep going.
I know.
This is parallel.
It is. It's 100% a parallel. So for those who aren't aware of the story, the Global Evolutionary Summit was born in October, November 2024, when my guide said to me, "We want you to do a summit." And I said no. And the simple answer to why I did not want to do it is because summits, when you how do I put that? When you are force-fed 20 speakers with brilliant information, you cannot retain and integrate the information in a conscious way. It's wonderful to bring it in subconsciously, but we want to live this. We want to embody it. We want more than just random streams of transmissions coming in, right? Because we want to change our lives. And that, in fact, goes back to the origin of what you were sharing. That's how we change the world. So when I thought of how I would do a summit, it would be one speaker a week, so that every single participant has the opportunity to integrate what is shared. And then you bring in these master teachers, these master visionaries like yourself, who have so much to offer. And when we start cross-pollinizing, we awaken in individuals exactly what is needed for their next evolutionary step.
Yeah, this is very important. I think sometimes people underestimate this. And this is
Yeah.
really what I was attuning to as we made the transition from Glastonbury to the summit is about the energy and just being in the energy. And I think last time you were on Spiritual Ambition, I neglected to mention that I was one of the participants. I was one of the speakers. So I want everybody to know, everybody who's watching, I'm going to be one of the speakers. We're going to talk about activating your sacred soul signature, which is your energetics and how that is woven into your Earth School curriculum, let's call it. But before I go on a ramble about that, being in the energy and the difference between the group that we had last year and the group that we have this year,
Yeah.
energetically, right? We all got together to just love on one another, and we were all a little bit high, right? A little bit like, wow, this is so yummy. This is so delicious. Because we were just in this beautiful energy of spirit, the beautiful energy of the divine. And each one of us walked away from that clearly knowing, like, wow, something is going on here, something special, something magical. So
Yeah.
you don't even have to really follow along or listen. All you got to do is show up in the presence of these visionaries and leaders and healers and teachers, and you're going to experience a shift. You are going to feel lighter, more joy filled. Clarity is going to come in and be with you. You're going to have some epiphanies and awarenesses just from being in the room with this crew. Am I wrong?
Not wrong at all. And here's what you don't know because it goes on in the back of the house. We all of the speakers meet before we even begin. And that includes the bonus recordings before we begin. So we set an intention and we open a container to hold everyone who participates. So you are, for these 10 weeks, you are held in a sacred container with the intention that everything that is meant for you becomes obvious in a way that you can receive it, absorb it, and become it. It is everything to be, do, and have what you are meant to do in this life. And I want to go back to a comment you made about I'll use my words, soul contracts. We all have very specific soul contracts with very specific karma, talents to overcome our karma, goals, and a soul destiny. And when you come into these types of containers where there is deep intentionality, that becomes awakened. And all of the results that you listed, the clarity, confidence, being able to see what your next step is, being able to embrace it with maybe a little bit of fear, but more confidence and courage than fear. That becomes activated.
Yeah.
And here's something that I think is essential for everyone. You cannot evolve alone.
Say more.
You can't evolve in a vacuum. The world is out there to reflect back to you what it wants you to know, because what it wants you to know will lead you to your next step. That includes everything you see, everything you hear, everything you taste, everything you smell, everything you experience. That's why some people love cilantro and others don't. I know that's a random example, but it's true. You know, when 100 people in an intersection observe an accident, and there's 100 different interpretations because it's completely keyed into you.
Yes, because each individual needs that particular interpretation for their specific growth and evolution.
Yes.
This cannot be underscored enough, that the difficult things that people go through and their interpretation of those difficult things are specifically meant for you. They are specifically meant to stretch you and grow you and expand you and push you into places you wouldn't go on your own.
Yeah.
Right? Places you wouldn't go on your own. Yes.
Yeah. And my guides really want me to share this right now. If you have a reaction, and I'll characterize reaction versus response. Reaction is in the moment, how you receive something going on in your world. A response is a very conscious step in a direction. So when you have a reaction, whether it is fear, pain, frustration, anger, grief, whatever it is, here's a perspective shift. Celebrate. Go, oh, look, I'm so afraid of that. What is it trying to teach me? Because our emotions are information. And so as you're listening to the different speakers bringing in their different perspectives, watch how you respond and how you react. Are you having a reaction? Are you having a response? Is this something that wants to be mined? Is this something that you align with that can get more securely anchored and reinforced in your system so your confidence grows? Or is it something that evokes a reaction? You go, wait a minute, I don't know about that. Well, that's the one you want to mine. That's the one that you want to follow and allow it to pull you into its world from your perspective.
Yeah.
The beauty of having such diverse perspectives. And yeah, okay. When you close your eyes and you place your hand on your heart, can you feel the pull of accessing? Oh my God. So many diverse layers of wisdom.
Let's all do this together, everyone. Yeah. Let Teresa guide you through this, wherever you are. Hello to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry that I haven't acknowledged you. We're so deep in this conversation. Melissa, Vivian, Kelly, hello, Jennifer, Charlene. Let's all do this together. We close our eyes and we put our hand on our heart and guide us through the levels, Teresa.
Can you awaken that place in your heart that is all-knowing, that is open and confident and curious? That place within you that wants you to step into the greatest version of your life that you can create. Are you present to that yearning that is pulling you forward into that next experience that is going to have a paradigm shift on what you think is possible in your world? Can you attend to this? And as you do, open yourself to the variety of sources of wisdom and knowledge and perspectives. The energy transmissions, the energy codes. What is being specifically designed through this information by your soul for your human? What is the energetic transmission that your soul is pulling from the variety of speakers in this summit for you to hear and attend to your soul's evolution? Can you feel those waves? Can you feel the waves of possibility? I'll repeat. We are not meant to do this by ourselves. We are meant to illuminate each other and to find those who have the illumination for us. And what is hiding within the yearning that is pulling you forward? For I guarantee to every single person, there's something you are not seeing that your soul lovingly and excitedly wants you to see that is possible for you. That is possible for you. And it so closely aligns to what your deepest desires are that when you take a step in that direction, all of these desires are made manifest. That is how we create. Can you feel the transmissions that are uniquely designed for you that catalyze your desires? Can you say yes? Ah, there we go. Whew. Yes. Yes to yourself. Yes to your community, family, friends, and yes to the world. Yes, I will be the solution. Yes, I will contribute my powerful energy. Yes. How do you feel? Yes. Vivian leaning into the fear. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Love yourself enough to say yes. Oh. Yeah, you're muted. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that was some powerful energy. Flip the switch.
That was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you. So beautiful. And my heart is so open, and I can feel all of the transmission that is available to everyone, right?
Yeah.
You know, what I'm aware of, Kelly, I want to invite you to just drop the link in the chat for us and put the link on the screen for anyone who is just ready to say that yes. But, you know, Teresa, what came up for me is a memory of when I first was like feeling that call to do this spiritual work. And, you know, you and I might be a little intimidating to someone who isn't accustomed to these circles, right? Because I can remember when I was called into this master's program, which really was a modern day mystery school. I mean, that is the truth of it. And I had a framework, right? The framework of my corporate self, that even though I was in the closet on the weekends with my oracle cards and, going to the psychics at the secret bookstore in the back, this wasn't something that felt okay or felt safe to my framework. This is going back 15 years ago now. And hello, everyone. I just see all the feeds coming through. Welcome in. We are talking to Teresa Wornstaff today about the Global Evolutionary Summit. Teresa, if someone really wants to do this, but they're listening to that negative self-talk, like these two crazy broads are full of woo-woo, like they don't know what the hell they're talking about, because this is really like a major blocker. And I have a whole other interpretation of what that might be. How can we work through that? How can we give ourselves permission to step into maybe a space that might feel uncomfortable? Like, I want to go out on a limb here and just be a testimonial for how safe this space will be and how welcomed you will be and how open everyone will be in welcoming anyone and anything that they bring, whether they bring their fear or they bring their uncomfortableness or they bring their questioning or they bring their critic. Even that is welcomed in these spaces because of the way that we're here to guide each soul through, I'm going to say, the undoing of those constructs.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Where do we start?
That's a great question. And it's fascinating to me that I was in a meeting just before this, and some of the channel information that came through was all around safety. So let's speak to that because it's important. And it's part of our evolution. Safety for us is constructed by controlling our environment. That's the default setting that societal norms has created for the human. And what I offer is this: keep it very simple. Don't come in with anything except curiosity. What happens if I came in and I learned something new? What happens if I came in and I heard something that shifted my perspective? This is not about, it is about exactly what is necessary for you. For some, they're going to come in and they're going to say, you know what? I'm currently working on regret. I want to learn how to live without regrets. And that's going to be the lens with which they'll integrate the information. And then in 3 months, they may come back to the summit and say, okay, now I'm working through XYZ. I'm going to look at it through this lens. But for those that are new to intuition, to tapping into the inner world that lives within every single human on the planet, this connection to something greater than ourselves, I mean, be curious, because here's the thing, and let me also take it one step further, and let's normalize spirituality. So, what is intuition? Intuition is the extension of all of your physical senses: knowing, seeing, smelling, tasting, hearing, feeling. It is walking down a dark alley and knowing whether you're safe or not. It is walking into a bar, closing your eyes, and knowing that your friends are in that corner. That's intuition. It is telling your guides, hey, I want front row parking at Costco, which we all want, right? Intuition has been blown into inaccessible proportions. And by bringing it down into a more accessible format, it is the sign that you are meant to see that has dual meanings for you. It's the overheard conversation in the grocery store that provides that missing information needed to make that decision. That is intuition. Every single one of us has it. We have all of the intuitions. And if you want, like anything else, you can develop it. And you know how you develop it? By using it. It's like learning to play the piano. If you want to become a good pianist, you practice. You use it. You play with the different notes. You play with the different combinations to see what works for you. And after time, you become adept. Same with intuition. Listen, I'm a channel. I was born intuitive. All my intuition gifts were wide open. For most of my life, I hid them. In corporate America, they weren't welcome. Did I use them? All the time. Did I say anything about that? No. Was I known for having good instincts on how to solve a problem? Yes. Was I known for having good instincts on how to mentor a teammate so they thrived? Yes. All of that originated from my intuition. But did I say that? No. I said, I got some really good employee empowerment training. And you have that within you. The opportunity that's afforded to us is in this human life. You have a specific set of skills and abilities that was designed specifically for you to meet the opportunities in your life and be successful. However you define success. However you define it. If it's happiness, if it's love, if it's money, whatever it is. And yeah, money counts. So again, it's trusting yourself, as Carrie just mentioned. Thank you, Carrie. It is trusting that you have the intuition and the knowledge within you. All the answers, not some, but all of them.
So as an individual does their own work, develops their own inner knowing, sharpens their intuition, how is that helping the world?
Well, first of all, it helps your own world, right? When you are using the tools that are available to you through your intuition, you become more confident. When you become more confident, you attract into your life things that allow you to express that confidence. Okay? When you express that confidence in your community, whether it's family, friends, or community at large, you implicitly give permission for them to start experiencing their own confidence. Okay,
say that again.
When you embody your confidence, when you trust yourself, you begin to implicitly give others permission to do the same, to embrace their own confidence, or to even start their own journey to feel confident. Okay, so you're doing it, All of a sudden, your daughter, your son, your husband, your wife, your neighbor, your friend, your community is doing it. Okay. Now we begin to compound the results, right? What I will tell you is this. Every emotion and belief has what I call a morphogenic field that holds that belief. Victim mentality, scarcity, fear, whatever it is. If you've healed that, and now all of a sudden you're confident, you are breaking down the morphogenic fields that suppress the greatness in all humanity. Said another way, by being confident, you put out into the world confidence that somebody around the world, I was going to mention a country that is having a hard time, but somebody there who's experiencing strife or war or suppression will feel that. That's how this works. It's the pebble in the pond ripple. Would you agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I just...
You're mute again.
Oh, can you hear me now?
No.
I absolutely agree.
No.
I absolutely agree.
Still can't hear you.
That's so weird because now I'm not muted unless I'm muted from backstage. Kelly, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? What happened?
Yeah, Kimberly, the ripple effect is huge, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Everything you see, say, and do contributes to humanity. Oh, she's saying they can hear you. I can't.
I know. But... Oh no. It's going to be hard for us to have a conversation, Matt. Oh, I think it's on your end, Teresa. Everyone, if you are just tuning in, we are talking with Teresa, who is the creator of the Global Evolutionary Summit, which is taking place right now. And across the screen, you can see the URL address, and I think it's been dropped in the chat, and we can drop it in the chat again. You know, the visionaries and the thought leaders that will be participating in this summit are pretty amazing. Lori Rubenstein actually already gave her talk last week, but she was sharing with us about inner authority. And the name of her talk was, you can't lead others if you can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. So we got into the topic of boundaries, which was really interesting and exciting. And there's going to be a lot more discussion around boundaries that will be happening on a panel discussion that's taking place on April 9th. When you participate in the summit, you're going to get all the recordings. So this is something that you can do at your leisure. But I do want to recommend, being there live on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You really get to experience all of the energies and like the yumminess of all of these healers and these thought leaders that have come together. Because Teresa has curated just this delicious group of individuals. Do you have me back? Can you hear me now?
I can't. No. I checked my settings. And it's so funny. We went through this at the beginning too.
Yeah. Mercury is trying to go direct.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to keep going. Teresa will be back with us in a moment. So the next speaker that is coming up this week, his name is Jason Gibler. And, Jason wrote a book that I'm not going to be able to give you the name of it off the top of my head, but it was like a teaser, and I'm waiting for the whole thing to come out because it was very shamanic. It was really awakening, like ancient wisdom within me. His talk is called Walking the Luminous Path, a journey of personal and planetary healing and the emergence of a sacred humanity. You know, we all look out onto the world and have so much pain and grief for everything that is going on. And we all want to be able to make a contribution. You know, we look at the news and we say to ourselves, what can I do? How can I help? I know that in my own work, on my spiritual path, as I did my own inner work, my true gifts began to awaken inside of me. And it was through those gifts that I then get to make a contribution to the whole. So this is also what happens with the ripple effect that we're talking about. This ripple effect is happening on multiple layers of our consciousness. This is not just energetic, right? And I don't know, a couple shows ago, I was talking about that study that was done where a group of people, it's called the Maharishi effect. And like a whole bunch of people got together and they meditated in a concentrated area. And from that, they watched the crime rate in that particular area go down. So there are energetic, positive ripples that are happening as we return ourselves to that beautiful place of loving, the connection point between our higher selves and our human selves. And our other gifts wake up that are operating in our physical world, in our mental world, and in our emotional world. So when we're really including all the levels of our consciousness, now all of a sudden, gifts that I've had that laid dormant. You know, I was a corporate marketing executive and never really used my voice before, never really spoke up with ideas that needed to be heard by other people. That was only as a result of me doing my own inner work. So there are so many positives to your individual engagement, which is another reason, you know, another reason to do the work, to show up at these sessions. While you were going back and forth with the technology, I spoke a little bit about Lori Rubenstein. I spoke a little bit about Jason Gibler. And then I will be presenting on April 2nd. Ava Dale, is that how you say her last name?
Yeah.
So Ava is going to talk about the transformative power of trust expressed as boundaries. And I know boundaries is like such a hot topic for everyone. And that is actually a learning line for me big time, which is super interesting because people hear that and they're like, really? But in my personal relationships, I have a lot more people-pleasing tendencies than one might believe. So that's super on point, right? To like talk about boundaries. And then we're going to do a panel discussion that is going to get all of these visionary leaders together having a conversation about boundaries, where we're going to be able to engage with the participants and work with them in real time to support them through any of their boundary issues.
Mm-hmm. And I love the panel discussions, and this is new for this session. So if you do join, you're going to get something even more powerful than the last two summits have contributed, because you will have an opportunity to ask each of these teachers questions that are specifically relevant to your journey. And I think, again, going back to, we are here to evolve ourselves. And when Kristen, who just joined us, asked about the ripple effect, when we start
Thank you. I was going to bring you back to that.
when we start to, whatever we feel, so whatever we feel goes out into the world, right? So if you feel
We're like
fear,
broadcasting.
that's exactly it. It's a broadcast. And so if you want to be part of the change around the planet, hold what you value, right? What do you value? Do you value love? Do you value peace? Do you value community? Do you value connection?
Serenity.
Yeah. So whatever you value, hold that. And when the contrast or the paradigm shift to what you value shows up, be with it, but transmute it and say, okay, I know I'm feeling really angry and frustrated. And that just means that something within me has reacted to what I've seen or experienced. And I don't want to hold frustration or anger. I want to heal that. And by healing it, by healing yourself, you heal the world. It's really that simple. By
It really
healing
is.
yourself, you heal the world.
It really is.
Yeah. And so in these panel discussions, you're able to come in and say, okay, you said this, and this was what I experienced. Can you help me navigate this experience so that I have a greater realization of what's available to me? And I guarantee you 100% of the time you ask that question, there's 50 people that are wondering the exact same thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Always. And that's the beauty of community. That's the beauty of a group experience. I can remember at the University of Santa Monica, there would be 200 people in the room. We did this live. And someone would stand up with the microphone, and when they were courageous enough to share about their own inner experience, you went on the journey with them,
Yeah.
and these shares were so open and vulnerable and loving. And it was so moving that as you witnessed their experience, you had an experience. And I used to say, every weekend I would be witness to miracles. And that really is what happens, is that we are witnessed as we witness other people having their own epiphanies, awakenings, changing their mind, opening their awareness. We get to have that with them. And this is also connected, I think, to the what we call the ripple effect, is that whatever we're experiencing goes out. And so I have to say this because it's my soapbox. We want to look out under the world right now and finger point all of the drama, and everybody gets angry and worked up. And when we do that, we are feeding that fire, folks. We are feeding that fire. That is then what we're broadcasting. And we have a lot of people broadcasting a lot of really intense stuff right now. That's not going to solve the problem. It's not going to get us to peace and cooperation. It's not going to get us to connection and collaboration or unity. Yeah. So we got to start with the man in the mirror. Period. End of discussion. It's always been that way. It will always be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree 100%.
We have Teresa Wornstaff with us. We are going to bring the show to a close. I can't believe an hour has already clicked by like a minute.
Zoom.
The link is across the bottom of the screen, everyone. The Global Evolutionary Summit is underway. You will get all of the recordings when you enroll. I promise you, you will meet incredible incredible people that you're going to want to stay connected to. I didn't get to talk about Deanne, who is going to talk to us about the divine feminine and really infuse vitality through all of us. Evie is going to talk about not enoughness and how that erodes your boundaries. And then Teresa is going to do more channeling for us. So if you were here earlier, then you got a little taste of that beautiful heart opening. We're steeping ourselves in the energy and in the love. Thank you for being here today. Light ahead to this beautiful summit that you have created. We say thank you to your guides for kicking you in the butt, to inviting you to do this. And any last words before I close the space?
Each and every one of you is a puzzle piece that contributes to the whole of our universe, to the whole of our world. And every day you get to choose what that puzzle piece is going to contribute. So I encourage you to step into your hearts and allow yourselves to be the best version of yourself. You deserve it.
Thank you,
You so
Teresa.
much.
Thank you. All right, everyone, we'll just take a moment. We're going to close this beautiful space. We just ask that the light be sent up ahead to each of our unique individualized paths as they contribute to the collective whole, sending blessings of love and light and grace. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are grateful and we say thank you. So be it. You're watching Spiritual Ambition. I am Donna Bond. We are closing the show today with love, in love, for love, by love, as love. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer, Kristen, Kimberly, Pam, Carrie Bowman. Thank you for being here. Rose. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Teresa. Much love.
Much love.